Let's talk music. Let's talk 5 essential tracks with the war on drugs.
Let's talk tracks.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you about your 5 essential tracks. Is this something that was the fruit of a long and hard discussion?
I've probably been thinking about it for a week or 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
The list is long. My list is long. And now I realize when I sat down, I'm just going to freestyle.
Love it.
And then Dave's been thinking about it for a long time.
Years and years. This is a long time
Robbie
coming.
actually has a really good, a local favorite.
So let's start with track number 1.
All right. I was thinking how we recorded some of the record in Los Angeles at United Studio B, which is like a really famous LA studio. Did a lot of, you walk through the lobby and there's like pictures of Phil Collins, Eric Clapton, Frank Zappa, all these people. And I was in Studio B, and one of the records that was done in Studio B was Sea Change by Beck. Mm-hmm. And I would stand in that room and I'd like clap and hear. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's the sound of that record. I mean, it wasn't.
Really?
But, I mean, maybe it was. I pretended that I could tell. But the first song on that record, The Golden Age, that's been a big inspiration for a long time. It's a great, great song.
Beck has been an artist who's gone through a lot of musical genres. Is there, like this song, is this the one you like best, or is it anything that he's done is good for you?
Not everything he's done, and I like a lot of I think the first time I saw him was on this festival called, the traveling festival called the Horde Tour, and that was when Alle came out, and that's when like everyone was dressed up like a psychedelic rabbit. You know, it was a totally insane show. But I liked a lot of different, and even the first, like the Mellow Gold, like the first major record. But I liked Sea Change because I guess just of the way it sounded. It sounded real classic, and also Nigel Godrich produced it, and he was like the Radiohead guy and did a lot of stuff. So I think from like a record crafting point of view, I really love that record.
Did you in any way try to mimic parts of the sound because you were on this Studio B, or is that something that you just completely let go of? You did?
For sure. Yeah, definitely. I guess we were trying to get stuff to sound that way, yeah. We weren't doing full band stuff. If we were, maybe we would have tried a little harder. But we were just doing guitars and vocals and some random kind of recording things. But it was more like an overarching kind of inspiration that went on in that room. There's a bunch of Radiohead record was done in there. I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Wow.
Might have heard of it.
Yeah, rings a bell.
It's like the second Foo Fighters record, I think. A lot of classic rock records. So it's
This is some pretty holy ground you were there.
Yeah, United Recorders, Studio B.
Track number 2.
Are you a Joni Mitchell fan?
Not specific, but I certainly like her music.
Anybody Joni Mitchell fans in here? Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
Defend the honor.
It's going to be a long night.
No.
There's like a mid-period Joni Mitchell record called Hejira that is phenomenal, and I really recommend everybody check it out. And
but how can I have that point of view when I need something from someone? White flags up winter chimneys, waving truce against the moon.
it's relevant to this band because it features tons of fretless bass, and it's sort of when I started thinking of the fretless bass as being an option, because in our world, whatever our world is, the scene that we come from, for a long time, I think fretless bass was sort of illegal, just very uncool. Like, you know, you would sort of make fun of these, you know, the sort of guitar center fretless bass guys. and which is no, I've become the very thing that I've mocked. I think it's part of just broadening your horizons and realizing that these sharp delineations of what's cool and what's not cool are sort of silly when you get older. And the track Hejira, the title track from that record, has all these fretless overdubs, and it's almost as loud as her lead vocal. It's incredible. It's like a lead instrument. It's Jaco Pastorius playing that. And for those who don't know, he's sort of a god in the bass community.
Well, well, there's a record I've been listening to. I listened actually every time I was flying out to do all our tracking, a lot of the tracking we did in LA. I'm a pretty anxious guy, super nervous. I sit down at the piano and I just I black out. I get nervous. It takes me a million times. So it's the main
Is this
thing
before you start a concert, or?
I think it's more like the recording process, like putting on the headphones and you're committing something to tape, and it feels like this permanent thing.
Wow.
Live it doesn't feel like the same thing. But there's a Dutch composer I listen to a lot on the flights, and I'm going to butcher his name, Joep Beving.
Joep Beving, yes.
Joep Beving, yes.
Wow.
So, and his records, Solipsism, maybe? It's there's a song called Etude, which would be my song. But I listened to that record probably a couple times every flight, every time I flew out to do the recording.
And this helps you concentrate or relax, or?
The record helps me relax. Just listening to it, it's like my perfect plane ride, record. It just kind of all the crying babies disappear. It's like the space, and I think just de-stressing is something that I need in daily life, and it's great.
Wow. How did you get to know Joep Beving?
I think he was, a Spotify accident, I think that's...
Spotify accident.
Yeah, which is, I think, is, a great way to find music. But, yeah, he's, I just really enjoy the simplicity of it, that record is you can hear everything in the room. You can imagine, maybe his, wife's in the kitchen, making dinner, or, maybe he's making dinner. I don't want to be... He's doing this. My wife makes me dinner because I can't cook. Yeah, I've set grilled cheese on fire. I guess is a toasty, and I've set soup on fire.
Those are skills in their own way,
Yeah, it's actually most people can't set those.
That's
foods.
an achievement, right?
Yeah, most people can't set those foods on fire. But yeah, I'll space out and start cooking something and let something catch on fire.
Well, Dave has on a Soundgarden t-shirt. One of the great American rock bands.
What would be the quintessential Soundgarden track?
From Super Unknown, maybe... I mean, it's tough to go wrong with Black Hole Sun.
Cannot go wrong.
It's tough. I heard it the other day, and... And I guess a couple different intertwining stories was, well, we played the Paradiso a couple years ago upstairs, and Chris Cornell, who recently obviously passed away, which is very sad for a lot of us, was playing the downstairs when we were playing. And all three of us were huge Soundgarden fans. We didn't know each other when we were in high school or anything, but we were, at the same time going to Soundgarden concerts. And so it was pretty cool when we realized he was downstairs sound checking. Although we went to go watch him sound check, but they had to cancel the sound check because he was lost in Amsterdam somewhere. He couldn't find his way back to the couldn't find his way back.
Never happens.
But we all heard from the crew that he was an awesome guy. But it was personally, it was my first concert when I'd started playing guitar, and I thought electric guitar was like the coolest thing I'd ever put on or anything. And then went to see the Super Unknown tour when I was like 15.
Wow. Which brings us to track number 5, which officially is the last track, but, you know, whatever.
Well, I was going to talk about Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, not because I love talking about Bruce Springsteen, but...
Are you the guy who always starts talking about Bruce Springsteen? You know what Bruce
only
would
within
do?
the last 16 months.
What started it?
Well, I mean, I always liked Bruce Springsteen, but then when I moved to Los Angeles, they had just started that, they had just released that River box set. And when I was a kid, they would play, I grew up in Boston, and they had really good classic rock radio. And they would play like the song The River all the time, but I liked the song, but I didn't really listen to it deeply, you know?
You don't get it until a certain age.
Right, you don't get it. And I, finally got it in the last couple of years. The River was kind of his album about like moving into adulthood, you know, like kind of growing up and like, you know, people have kids, you're like dealing with your family on another level now. And he was trying to kind of figure out his place within growing up, you know, and like being an adult now and his music and everything. And I kind of felt like a certain kinship with that idea around the same time, and it was about the time to start making a new record, and then I got really heavy into that record, listening to it a lot and using it as kind of an inspiration for starting to write, and because I think I was feeling similar themes in my life, having just gotten off the road of 2 years and trying to figure out, like, you know, my relationship to music and growing up and all that. So,
So officially, we've ended the session here. I mean, we have 5 tracks.
maybe there's 6.
Yeah. Is anyone bored yet? Nope.
It's funny, I didn't have another track, but then as we were talking, I started thinking about how sometimes, like, in a tight-knit friend group, you can have these, like, mini zeitgeists. These zeitgeist moments where, like, one person discovers a song and then plays it for their friend, and they sort of discover it together because it's new to all of them at the same time. You know what I mean? Instead of, like, one person being like, oh, yeah, I know that song. Yeah, I've heard that for years.
It's a group thing.
It's
and
a group
you'll always
thing,
remember the time, the song.
Yeah, and there was this Kate Bush song called This Woman's Work that I feel like all of us at once were like, that's the best song ever. I don't know who, maybe Charlie
think so.
was playing it or something.
Yeah.
And it just went on rotation, I think, on all of our homes. And I think that record, Sensual World, influenced this album. I'm not sure how, because they don't sound alike, but...
Well, there's one song called Deeper Understanding,
which is the title of the record. But
So you named the album after a Kate Bush song.
Yeah.
That's a pretty impressive zeitgeist that you were in then.
It was.
Yeah.
It was an intense zeitgeist. We're still reeling from it.
Yeah.